You're really hard up for some content, aren't you?
No, we've still got 2, 3 Franken episodes worth, but like, might as well. Like, this seems worthy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just seeing the reviews coming in on my YouTube for Suicide Squad, and none of the reviewers are suggesting it. I mean, even the ones that were kind of optimistic, it's just amazing how completely panned this game has become. Ooh.
I wonder if that's going to be the legacy of Suicide Squad. One awful movie, one mediocre movie, and a shitty video game. Which is so interesting because Suicide Squad as a comic and then in the DC animated shows, there's several. I'm not as familiar with DC stuff as I am with Marvel, but they have always been very well received in the comics and in the cartoons. But Marvel syndrome kicked in. I cannot wait for this trend to die. Like, it's still got some legs. Like, unfortunately, we're not done with everything having a cinematic universe. But like, even Marvel has lost the thread on this one.
Oh, no, hang on. I wanted to give you a timestamp just to. This is a 45-minute video of Skill Up, just lambasting it. But I'm pretty much just going to a place where the combat is shown a little bit more, and it's just for some reason, like, the camera zooms in very often. There's a lot of particle effects, and whenever there's flashes across the screen for whatever reason, it's just atrocious.
Yeah, I'm watching
just
this
watch
now.
That.
This doesn't.
Watch it whenever it switches to Clown Girl.
That looks awful. Also,
this was worked for what, 8 years?
It's so generic too, because unless you had told me this was Suicide Squad, like if you showed me this, I mean, obviously, like the video is titled, Suicide Squad is in the name. But if you just showed me this footage, like with no other context, and were like, "Can you tell me what game this is?" I would definitely not be able to do so.
Unless you saw, like Clown Girl or no Shark Superman.
Well, the thing is that they're both so generic. Like, Harley Quinn in the footage that you were showing is so generic. She just looks like she could be like a Fortnite character skin or something.
Or guess what? They sell the classic skins because, of course, they do.
Oh,
and it's like $30 or $40. It's a later portion of this video talking about the monetization.
And then, like, this is just a shark.
Yeah, okay, now I need to figure out the conversion because, of course, it uses its own currency because, of course, it does, right?
Of course. Who was that supposed to be? Deadshot? Is that supposed to be
Yes.
Deadshot?
Yeah, it's Deadshot. That's Red Batman.
And then I guess that's supposed to be Boomerang. He's got the right aesthetic, but he's shooting guns instead of throwing a boomerang. Or boomerang gadgets.
Why bother with characters that have very unique and diverse combat whenever you can just give them a fucking minigun, right?
Yeah. Which, I mean, Boomerang does occasionally use guns, if I remember, but it's like that's not his primary deal. He's got his boomerangs and his little gadgets. All right, that looks a little bit more like Harley Quinn. Still not really like Harley Quinn, but a little bit more.
If you go to the live service portion, they showed the Harley Quinn classic animated series costume, which even then it doesn't look quite right because it's so. Okay, I know I'm saying cartoonish whenever it's saying the original animated costume is a little odd, but also we're talking about something that actually is looking closer to live action, right?
Yeah. Okay, there's the Joker. Yeah, this looks awful. In more ways than one. Like, it literally looks awful. And then metaphorically, as a product, as a game, it also looks awful. So, thanks for sharing, I guess. I mean, it doesn't like hurt me. I'm not like a huge fan of uh Suicide
Suicide
Squad, like
Squad or DC
yeah. I mean, I like their comic appearances. I don't like hate the movies that were made. They're not great, but I don't hate them. So, but it's one of those. It is what it is.
Yeah, I can't find the actual translation of how much each point is. I do know that because of all the issues, they gave the people that paid an extra $30 to access the game 3 days early a $20 token, right?
Wow, a whole $20.
Yep. And it has battle passes, and it just... I mean, I know. It's a live service game. It's to be expected. However, it's also a $70 game.
Yeah.
That honestly, I don't expect to see a lot of long-term player base for.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, supposedly it has a substantially lower initial player count than Avengers did when it came out, which is damn. Yeah, I'm watching the live service part, hoping to see a conversion. Oh, oh, I didn't even catch this before. So,
What?
okay, so if you buy the collector's edition, the $100 version, you're given some skins as a way to say we're totally not ripping you off. But they give you the starter version, and there's more to buy for those skins that you have to do additional microtransactions for, and not even counting the color swaps. Just wow, right?
I see. Lovely.
According to this, just to finish the starter skins, each one is $30 according to Skill Up. Wow, right?
$30 each. How many are there?
I'm presuming 4 because not Avengers, Suicide Squad, and there's 4 playable characters.
$120 for all that crap.
So, okay, well, it looks like it's $20 US, assuming, of course, they translate the price properly. Whew. Okay, here it is. I finally got the screenshot of how much the Suicide Squad credit tokens, whatever. Okay, so 500 is, mind you, these are all Aussie dollars. $7 and 55 cents. So I'm presuming that's $5 US. 1,000 is right at 15. So 2,000 is just under 30. 3,000 is $44.95, and 5,000 is $75.95. Damn, right?
$75 dues.
Yeah, which one Aussie dollar is 65 cents US. So you're looking at $50 for 5,000 tokens, and a bundle of just one skin is 1,000. So yeah, that's quite expensive, huh?
Yes, it is.
Remind me, microtransactions. The micro that's supposed to be small, right?
That was my interpretation of events. Yes, sir. It's supposed to be small.
When are we going to just go to macro transactions?
That's a good question. Aren't those just called purchases? Normal purchases?
Yeah, this is just fucking ridiculous. So, yeah, you're looking at it's you can't just buy it straight up. You have to buy the tokens or whatever they're calling it. You have that last little bit sitting in your wall. It's like, hey, you gave us this money, and you have nothing that you can buy it with unless you give us a little bit more.
Right. Just a little hit. Just a
Mhm.
little.
What was it? League of Legends that had all their prices prime numbers, so it wasn't easily divisible by their batches of currency.
I mean, there's been several games that have done that. League might have done that. Although Xbox did that, God, forever ago. Way back when, whenever you had to buy those, what were they? Microsoft points or Microsoft something, Xbox. I mean, they had their Xbox currency. And so you'd spend like, $20 on, I don't know, let's say 5,000 points. I don't remember the values off the top of my head. But it's like most things would be valued at, say, like $17.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 20, like you'd always have a little bit left over. So you'd always need to buy a little bit more.
Because of course, right?
Of course. So
it's so exhausting being a gamer these days.
Yep. It's just so much garbage everywhere all the time.
Speaking of which, are we ready to record?
Yeah. I'm ready to record.
I'm presuming we're just going to do Game Club.
Yeah, I'm okay with just doing Game Club. That's relatively straightforward, simple to get through, and you're tired and I'm tired, and so we'll do a thing, and then we can be old men and go to bed.
One, right?
Unless you break. I liked SteamWorld Build, but unless you bring some stuff up that I hadn't considered, I think it'll be a shorter one for me.
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
The Game Pass games are up. Or what's there's one for you.
What?
So, coming soon, February 7th, Train Sim World 4.
Yeah,
I wasn't being sarcastic.
No, I see it. I just opened up the app. Lightyear Frontier. That looks interesting. Oh, that looks really interesting. Mech-based farming game. I'm here for that. Yeah. Lightyear Frontier. Game Pass. It's in the coming soon section. You can pre-install now. Looks like, yeah. It's a mech game or a mecha game, but you're a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I'm into that. I mean, because of events, I've got some vacation time coming up in a couple of weeks where I'm not going anywhere. I get to have a staycation, so opportunity to play some games. If Lightyear Frontier is out by then, maybe that. Put a little bit more time into Pal World. Put a lot of time into Game Club stuff and Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, which I tried Pal World, and it just feels so much like every other survival game that I've bounced off of.
Yeah. I have thoughts. I don't love it. I do like it, and it has potential for me as a podcast game.
I just want to know what people are smoking, saying, this is Pokemon, but with guns. No, this is generic survival game. With, I can't believe it's not Pokemans.
Yeah. There are guns. And some of the not Pokemans can get guns. But, I mean, the trailer sold the game as one thing. And the game is not that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Classic. And that could be, cynical reasons. That could be developmental shifts in development, whatever. But, yeah.
Well, the fact that it has 500,000 playing right now, right?
Yeah.
Is just astounding to me.
I do... Man, I think that it says something about the...
We're old?
Yes, but also about what quote-unquote the gamers TM want. I think a lot of people want more out of the Pokemon franchise. And the fact that this is...
agree with that one.
This is essentially Pokemon adjacent and it does something different, I think it falls into the category of like people are really overlooking the flaws and what it actually is, so that they can have the Pokemon with guns, like Pokemon with like open world survival, like whatever. Like the people want that kind of stuff, and Pokemon isn't doing it. And so even though this isn't that, it's close enough. People are like, yeah, absolutely, Pokemon with guns, let's go.
Yeah, Game Freak plays. I'm not even sure saying safe is the proper way to do it, because playing it safe would mean they're complacent with their place in gaming.
Yeah.
And no one's really challenged them. Honestly, I would say Power World is probably one of the weaker ones to attempt to take a bit of the Pokemon pie. I would say Cassette Beast was a far better opportunity for it.
I agree
and
in some ways, but I think Cassette Beast is doing the traditional Pokemon thing.
Or Tim before they fumbled that one. Going hard onto microtransactions. And going down the live service rabbit hole. Which, oh boy, right?
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. It's definitely not, in my opinion, it's definitely not as good as most people claim it is, but I don't think it's bad per se.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. I hadn't heard anybody talking about Tim for a while. And oh boy, the reviews have soured.
Yeah. All right. Anyways. Oh, excuse me. You got Audacity up?
Oh, there's you on. Yes, I do.
All right. Ready to record in 3, 2, 1, record. And for the sync, 3,
2,
1, sync.
Sync. Woo.
Woo.
All right, that's a good. Let's wrap it up and go home.
All right, sounds good. Got like maybe 21 minutes of Craig time. That'll do it for tonight, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, do they really want to hear us talk about a game when we could just talk about random shit?
Talk about random shit? Absolutely. Love a good random shit conversation.
Yeah, I'm just still looking at the most played. And Baldur's Gate is number 4 right now. Which, considering Baldur's Gate 3 is sitting between Dota 2 and Apex Legends. That's amazing to me.
Baldur's Gate, man, I can't wait to get there and talk about Baldur's Gate.
I need to play some more of it. I'm 20 some hours on my playtime, and I'm still in Act 1.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about Baldur's Gate's game design.
Mm-hmm.
Story, I think the reason, because I have struggled to finish the game. My main playthrough is in Act 3, and I think I have made significant progress in Act 3, but I have a hard time playing it because it feels, to a certain extent, overwhelming. Not like in a bad way, but this sort of, I think, classic, or air quotes classic, or standard RPG design that does branching paths. They branch out, they get extremely wide in the middle, and then they re-narrow at the end of the game. And there is a smidgen of that because there are only so many main story threads to pull on. But I feel like Baldur's Gate never narrows back down because it really commits to, you make decisions, you cut off avenues, and those are no longer available, and you're going to keep going on the path that you go on and finding new things all the way. So it never feels like I'm truly like whittling down that quest log, even though like I can see it happening, but the areas stay big. I'm still finding new things in Act 3, despite, like I said, chipping away at massive points of major storylines in the game. It's like, oh, here's this really big thing that's going on. That's like been in the background the whole time, especially since I've started a couple other playthroughs. And it's like, oh, here's this thing that I completely forgot about in Act 1 that is showing up again in Act 3. Like, it was foreshadowed. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It's just there's so much. So, I mean, the game...
Well, what I look forward to, and this is a rarity for me, is to tackle another playthrough and go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to gamify this and do most of this area, then backtrack and go to somewhere else and go somewhere else.
Well, I mean, you can't. Like, you can't because
Yeah.
it shuts it accepts your decisions and then closes things off where you can't do them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which I appreciate. In a game like this, I appreciate that. I think the game would benefit from 3 full playthroughs because you make your own character and do kind of what you want. You do your own character and you explore the stuff that you didn't do, some of the big stuff that you didn't do, and then you play the Dark Urge origin story. And because it's different, it's very different. And with the Dark Urge, it lets you make your own character, but you've got a backstory that connects to the older Baldur's Gate games.
Yeah, which I've only played a little bit of. I think that either the first or the second one, but I never played a ton of it, so I don't have a lot of memory of it.
And I don't think you have to because it does a really good job with like a mysterious intro, and you learn about your character and their backstory and what's going on. But if you know things, then you could be like, oh, I think I know what this is. I think I know who this is. This character, this event, whatever. Like, so, and I know a little bit. I've played some of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I went back and tried to replay them last year. I talked about it on the show, and it just didn't. I just didn't grok with the game design. You know, it's just old, and it hasn't held up in terms of like modern conveniences and things like that. So,
yeah, the only thing that really gets me on Baldur's Gate 3 is spells feel almost like too good to use for most of the time, unless I'm in a really big fight. The spell slots.
What character class are you playing, or what character class?
I'm playing a fighter, but I have Gale in my party.
Okay.
So it feels like if I'm not using the cantrips, and I'm burning through the spell slots. I know that he has an arcane recovery that allows him to recover a little bit, but it's limited.
Yeah.
So it really does feel almost too good to use, you know?
Yeah. And the game does not encourage you to long rest, which is how you recover all those spell slots.
Yeah.
It does not encourage you to long rest early on. And then, like, around Act 2, they start being like, maybe we should rest before we go do this thing.
Yeah. In Act 1, pretty much at the end of it. And they're already starting, whenever you're walking around with spell slots down, talking about how, I'm feeling tired. Yeah, maybe we should call it a day.
Yeah.
Which I do appreciate.
Because
it feels like, almost, I don't want a long rest in advanced time because at the very beginning of the game, it feels very urgent to, move because of the story.
Yeah. Then there are times where that if you take too long, if you because long resting is kind of how the game signifies time moving forward. And there are things that if you take too long, you can fail them, or there will be different outcomes. So,
or
I haven't found
trigger something, then long rest.
Which I haven't found too many of those, and there are times where the game is definitely generous. Like I'm in like an Act 3 win, for example, that's pretty fresh in my mind. Like something happens, someone is kidnapped, and you're told well, we should go find them. If we wait too long, they'll probably wind up dead. And I had to long rest, and I got one free long rest. Mm-hmm. And then I went to take a second long rest, and one of the other characters is like, I don't know, what's going to happen to so-and-so if we don't go rescue them. And I think that the game, I expect that's the game gently reminding you, hey, if you take too long, this character is going to die.
Yeah.
And so, I push through. There are some items that you get that allow you to gain the benefits of short and long rests without actually using short and long rests. Mm-hmm. They're very limited use, but you can find them and use them to help supplement. And then there are areas of the game where something happens that will give you the effect of a long rest, even though you don't take one. Those are also pretty spread out, but they do exist to help. But yeah, when you get later on in the game, especially like if you're going to be maining Gale or Shadowheart, because they're both full spellcasters.
Yeah, which I did respect Shadowheart to your suggestion.
Life Domain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a lot more useful now.
She's much more useful as Life Domain. Or by going Paladin with her.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to completely change her.
The game will treat the character as if they are the same class for story purposes, storyline purposes, but Paladin works for her story anyway. The only one that really like screws with is Will, with him being a warlock. If he becomes anything else, his story doesn't work, but the game just ignores that for story purposes. But anyways, later on in the game, you will have so many spell slots that you're just going to be like, fuck it, use them, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think Gale has got something like 16 to 18 total spell slots, and I mean they're spread from level 1 to level 6 spells, but
yeah,
I would imagine that you're probably like me, you will pick favorites, and so there will be ones that you're just like, yeah, this spell slot, like this spell is it for all of these spell slots.
One of the early ones I've picked up for Gale that for big fights that has a choke point. Cloud of Daggers.
Cloud of Daggers. Mwah. Cloud of Daggers is so good.
And Flaming Sphere is also really good.
Yeah, Flaming Sphere is also extremely good. Summons.
Yeah, if there's a choke point, a large group of enemies in a choke point, and it's a big fight, well, congratulations, you're down a Cloud of Knives.
Yeah. There are spells later on that outclass Cloud of Daggers, but Cloud of Daggers being a level 2 spell that has no saving throw, they just take damage, is really, it never loses its utility. There's a boss fight where that, because of like story reasons, he can't move for part of the fight. And I just dropped 2 Clouds of Daggers on him from casters that I had, and then they just ran away. And so every turn, just sweet damage. Anyways,
well, we got off in the weeds.
Yes, but like Baldur's Gate 3 is like I love it, so I'm okay to get off in the weeds about it. But we should get on topic. So Game Face. Oh, excuse me.
Okay, so there is a category of speedrunning for Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
Called Sex Percent.
Yep.
And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the quickest way to get it on. And I was doing my post-show, what did I miss that we could have talked about this week, right? And this headline pops up. Minithir takes center stage as the new face of 6% in Baldur's Gate 3 speedruns. Larian tried to patch out sex speedrunning. Unfortunately for them, we're not so easily deterred.
Yeah.
It just fascinates me just how crazy speedrunners could get.
Yeah.
I mean, speedrunning is it's something I would never be able to do. But it's just fascinating, just the amount of dedication.
Yeah. I also would never be able to do it.
The speedrun uses a jump plus further fall combo to carry May's character, the aptly named Justice for Sex Percent, all the way to the Goblin Fortress, triggering the invasion, along with a few other things. Basically going down an evil route to be able to get it on. It's just fascinating just how dedicated these people are.
Yeah. All right.
I was expecting more of a reaction.
I'm sorry. It's tiredness. Muting my reaction.
No problem. I just...
Mwah. There's my reaction.
Bad touch.
All right. I'm going to put Craig to bed for the second time. Good night again, Craig.